Hi, my name is Haniza Zanal Abidin. I'm a student of the Human Heredity course taught by Professor Gonzalez at Evergreen Valley College. And this is a presentation on the BRCA1 and BRCA2 gene mutations. This is a biology overview of the genes. What are BRCA1 and BRCA2 genes? They are tumor suppressor genes, and this means they will destroy cancer cells. Um, As you can see in this image, BRCA1 is on chromosome 17 and BRCA2 is on chromosome 13. Um, it is a germline mutation and they're inherited in an autosomal dominant pattern. There's about 4,000 variants of the BRCA mutation, and having mutations on these genes significantly increase the likelihood of developing cancers like breast cancer, male breast cancer, ovarian, fallopian tube, pancreatic, prostate, and melanoma. So this table is to compare cancer risks between the general population and people with the BRCA mutation. Um, And as you can see, the for breast cancer, the general population risk is only 12%. And people with the mutation, with the BRCA mutation, for BRCA1 is 50 to 80%, and for BRCA2 is 40 to 70%, much higher than the general population. For the second primary breast cancer, that means people who have a breast recurrence cancer, and the general population is 3.5% within 5 years. And if you see BRCA1 is 27% within 5 years, and BRCA2 is 12% within 5 years. Ovarian cancer is a pretty big difference also. In the general population risk is only 1 to 2%, but for the mutation risk for BRCA1, it is 25 to 40%, and BRCA2 is 11 to 18%. So, what impact did the BRCA mutation have on human development? Well, once we know that there is a connection between the BRCA mutation genes and the risk of cancer, the demand for genetic testing increased. So much so that the FDA approved one at home testing kit. So people don't really have to go to the hospitals and clinics for genetic testing. And however, the genetic testing kit that is done by 23andMe can only test for 44 variants, whereas the BRCA mutation genes have over 4,000 variants. I also want to touch about the Angelina Jolie effect on the general population. So when the actress talked about her BRCA1 mutation and also her decision on getting a double mastectomy to reduce her risk of cancer, there was a huge increase of awareness in the general population about what is genetic testing, what are BRCA mutation genes, and also the option that there is an option about for surgery to reduce the cancer risk. So as you can see on the table, there's a 90% increase in women that was referred for breast cancer genetic counseling in the Odette Cancer Center in Canada, and a 110% increase in women identified with a BRCA gene mutation. So that's a pretty big jump. Now we go on to what treatments are available for people with the BRCA mutation genes and the costs. So there's things like medications like tamoxifen and olaparib that's in the market. Tamoxifen helps to reduce the chances of getting breast cancer by blocking the estrogen receptors in breast cancer cells. And olaparib targets enzymes within the cancer cells and stops it from growing. It's used, so olaparib is used to treat ovarian cancer, breast cancer, pancreatic cancer, and prostate cancer. Um, and for tamoxifen, it's $90 for a 30-day supply. And for the olaparib, it's $8,833 for 60 tablets. Olaparib is quite new in the market. So the other options aside from medication is people can do surgeries. Um, for example, like a double mastectomy is to take away the breast tissues, and that can range from $15,000 to $55,000. Salpingectomy is the removal of fallopian tubes, and that's about $3,000 to $13,000 for cost. And the oophorectomy is the removal of ovaries, and that is about $10,000. And the melanoma treatments, so that melanoma can be treated in different ways, and that costs about from $400 to $50,000. And most these costs are with from out of pocket without insurance. So, are there laws that can help people with the BRCA genetic mutation? There are two laws that is relevant. The first one is GINA, which is stands for Genetic Information Non-Discrimination Act of 2008. It prevents health insurance and employers from using genetic information to make decisions about coverage, rates, hiring, firing, or job promotions. And the next law is the ACA, which is the Affordable Care Act of 2010, and that requires most private healthcare insurance to cover genetic testing and counseling for women that meets the criteria. And this is specific to BRCA mutations only. However, men are not covered for this benefit. So, what does the future hold for the BRCA genetic mutation carriers? Well, there should be more advocacy for genetic testing. There's a lot of people who's not sure what genetic testing is about and what they can do with the results. But if they do find out if they have the mutation, then they can see what their options are to reduce the cancer risk. And they might also get more screening. With more frequent screenings, early detection of cancers is possible, and this saves lives. Um, Second point is that the global BRCA mutations treatment market is projected to grow to reach an estimated market value of $7.2 billion by 2032. It's a huge number, and North America is the leader in this market. So, with that kind of dollar amount, there's a lot of companies that are racing to find treatments for the BRCA mutation carriers. The treatments that are being studied are examples are targeted therapies, PARP inhibitors, and vaccines. And this is my last slide. It's the references to the images I used. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed the presentation.